Nights in white satin, never reaching the end. Letters I've written, never meaning to send. Beauty I'd always miss, these eyes before. Just what you mean to me, I can't say anymore, 'cause I love you. Yes, I love you. Oh, how I love you. Gazing at people, some hand in hand, just what I'm going through, they can't understand. Some try to tell me thoughts they cannot defend. Just what you want to be, you will be in the end, 'cause I love you. Yes, I love you. Oh, how I love you. How I love you. White satin, never reaching the end. Letters I've written, never meaning to send. Beauty I'd always miss, with these eyes before. Just what the truth is, I can't say anymore, 'cause I love you. Yes, I love you. Oh, how I love you. Love you. Yes, I love you. Yes, I love you. Oh, how I love you. Oh, how I love you.
Hello everyone out there in YouTube land. I hope you enjoyed the video that we just recorded. The song was Nights in White Satin. It was a song in the 1960s by the Moody Blues. The Moody Blues wrote this song kind of during that psychedelic sort of acid rock era, and of that particular genre, this is one of my favorite recordings. The original recording I actually did with an orchestra and a lot of orchestration if you listen to it, and of course the first version, the album version of this song, was 7 to 8 minutes long because there's a poetic sequence in the middle of the song. So if you're interested in it, you can find the album version of the song. I think you'd find it pretty interesting with that whole sequence in the middle of the song. They cut that out when they released the radio version of the song. And so the radio version of the song was closer to that 4 minutes, which is what the radio stations were looking for. But you might have noticed, if you have a trained ear, that the bass guitar on that song was a little bit off. Well, there's a reason for that, and I wanted to share that with you. The bass guitar that I used for this recording was this guitar right here. This guitar was given to me by my Uncle Dan after the death of my grandfather, my Grandpa Al, a few years ago. It is a guitar that was made in the 1930s. It's a Silvertone guitar, which of course Silvertone is not a guitar name that you'll see these days. But Silvertone was a name that was marketed through Sears, Roebuck & Company. So this was a bass guitar that you could buy either from the Sears catalog, or you could buy it obviously from the Sears store. But Silvertone guitars were actually made by Danelectro and later became Danelectro guitars. If you look at this guitar, you'll notice from the look of it that it looks very much like a Danelectro that maybe Jimmy Page played. If you remember back in the 60s and 70s when he was playing, he played a Danelectro guitar on certain songs. And that's because it is basically a Danelectro. The problem that I had with this is a short neck bass, which you don't see anymore. All of the basses today that you see have the longer neck. And so we had to do a little bit of retrofitting to get the strings that, the only strings available today are the longer strings, and it was hard to get them to fit this particular neck. Also, the tuning ears on this guitar are really old, so they really don't hold a tune particularly well. So you have to kind of be careful with that when you're playing it. And I had tuned this before I recorded it, but the tuning I think the guitar dropped a little bit out of tune just as we were getting ready to lay it down. But anyway, I wanted to share it because this is kind of a special bass to me. It was, like I said, it was given to me by my Uncle Dan under the stipulation that I would agree not to sell it. And of course, Dan, I'm not going to sell this bass. It will stay in the family, and it is special, so thank you. Also, the video, if you watch the video, yes, those pictures that are in that video are of my wife. They're different pictures that I inserted through the years, and then of course we chromed them over, as a background with me playing in the foreground. The solo work that I did, that solo I'm playing it on my Strat there. I sort of cheated because when I recorded it, I didn't play it on my Strat, I played it on my Les Paul. Not that that really matters, but the solo kind of is very similar to the solo that's in the song, although I changed it up. The chord progression is a little bit different, and the solo itself is just a little bit different. So anyway, if you're interested in the song and interested in what I did here, if you look down below here, you'll see the chords. I actually kind of put the chords down for you. So if you're a guitar player and you're kind of interested in what we did, the chords are listed below. The song itself was done in the key of E minor. Which of course is the relative minor to the key of G major. So the intro and the verse themselves are basically just E minor and D. And again, there's a couple of interesting chords in the song. There is an F in there, which really doesn't fit the key, but it's kind of a passing chord that in the middle of that passage of the verse. And if you know anything about music, F is kind of the dominant seventh of the key of G. And then of course it modulates, the song itself modulates on the chorus because it goes to an A. There's actually an A major there, and that of course A major is not in the key of G major. So there's a little bit of a modulation for a couple of measures, and then it comes right back down to the E minor. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, feel free to post them down below. Be kind with your comments, and take care. Thank you.